visionary and an enabler. May we hear your thoughts on this, sir?
You know, it's not enough to say that we can go through the rhetoric of trying to describe the man, because I think kapag pinag-uusapan natin si Jesse, we're talking of an icon, a legend, a hero, a true Filipino. And if I remember him right, from way back in 1998, nung naging siya ay isang alkalde ng Naga City, he has been a visionary from the very start. Yung sinabi ko nga kanina na he was the first local official na nagtatag ng isang zone of peace, that is just one of the many accomplishments na nagawa ho ni Jesse Robredo. One of the major achievements which all of us should emulate is the fact that he valued the importance of people's participation in governance, na ang mga kababayan niya doon sa Naga have been major stakeholders in the development of Naga City. And if you look at the Galing Pook Awards, for those who are still new and getting to know now Jesse Robredo, is the fact that when you talk about the Galing Pook Awards, this is one award which is given to a particular local government unit for trailblazing activities that is initiated by the local government head. At alam mo, JJ, if you look at the record of Naga City, when you talk about 14 awards, who else among the local government units ang makakagawa yung nagawa ni Jesse Robredo for Naga City? You know, in 1988, nung siya naging isang alkalde ng Naga City, nakita natin na ang Naga is the hotbed of the insurgency. But the fact that there have been consultations between him and the people, ang ating mga kababayan sa Naga were active stakeholders in developing that particular area. Nakita natin that looking at by the results from 1988 up to the time he was mayor, before he was appointed as the Secretary of Local Government, and nakita natin na ang Naga is now a model for development. One of the major achievements also, the secretary there in Naga City, which is now going to be replicated not only in Naga City, pero sa ibang mga probinsya ng Bicol, and hopefully nationwide, as mentioned by Labor Secretary Rosalinda Baldos, yung mga job kiosk. Alam mo naman, JJ, na kapag pinag-uusapan natin kung bakit ating mga kababayan ay pumupunta sa Metro Manila, because they felt at that time, they feel na walang trabaho sa kanilang kanayunan. Pero nakita natin sa efforts ni Secretary Robredo, yung job kiosk was able to provide employment for all the people of for Naga. Not necessarily everybody, pero nakita natin may effort na ganun. Because of that success, nakita natin na yung ating mga ibang alkalde in different parts of the country are actually adopting this. And this is actually the trigger for the public employment office, which has been created by the Department of Labor in recent years. So marami, alam mo, kapag tinitingnan mo yung listahan ng mga accomplishments ni Jesse, talagang hindi mo mabibilang yan. If you look at his job as a secretary of the DILG, I can remember that during the first 3 months of his tenure, because one of the major concerns of doing business, especially for foreign investments, is how the process is. And you being a lawyer, Jesse, nakita mo na yung red tape has been a problem. So one of the first things he did na ginawa niya is to work hand in hand with Secretary Greg Domingo. At ang ginawa niya is they signed a memo of agreement to ensure that the red tape, which normally is a very long process dyan sa mga local government units, ay napakatagal. And that has been the major complaint. But you can see that because of these reforms in cities like San Fernando, in Pampanga, and even in Taguig and other cities in Metro Manila, yung process na yon talagang mabilis na ngayon.
That's true, sir. In fact, we noticed that in some of the government agencies po, no? When we usually transact, they would ask us to go back the next day. But we noticed that in some of the local government units now, sa ibang mga munisipyo o mga halls, municipal halls po nila, no? Ngayon po ay within one day, and they even give you this certain slips at ilalagay mo ron how many minutes have you transacted with them, and in how many minutes have you were you granted whatever you were requesting for. So, ngayon po, it's very educational and very enlightening for all of us to learn that one of the proponents of the elimination of red tape and para ma-fast track po lahat ng transactions, si Secretary Robredo po pala ito. Well, sir, we've also read some blogs, particularly yung blog po ni Attorney Manuel Lacerna. He said that there are 5 reasons why Secretary Robredo is such a great loss. He said that he served the people, he shared power, he was an activist without claiming to be one, he is world-class because of what he did to his own hometown, ano? And he is a good and great man. Masyado pong malalim ito, simpleng salita, pero bawat isang dahilan po ay may malalim na dahilan. Like when he said that he served the people, I think you're one of the few people here who knows very well how he served the people. Sir, would you like to share with us the kind of service that Secretary Robredo has given to our people here in the Philippines?
You know, when you talk about empowerment, yan ang basic one, very basic sa kanya. And I think when you try to look at local government units, if you look back at history, JJ,
Yes,
go
sir.
back to 1991, when the local government code was signed into law by the President's mother, the late President Corazon Aquino. He was one of the innovators along this direction. And now that he is the Secretary of Local Government, and you have been reading a lot about the scorecard system, at saka yung tinatawag natin ng Seal of Good Housekeeping and the Performance Challenge. Now, when you talk about the scorecard system, yun yung tinatawag natin ng metrics yun. Yung metrics and you measure the performance of local government units in the delivery of services to their respective constituents. Pagkatapos kung ano yung priorities na dapat ipatupad ng isang alkalde, isang gobernador in relation to the needs of their constituents. Pagkatapos, when you talk about Seal of Good Housekeeping, you speak of how they utilize their resources. Kaya meron din yung performance challenge. Yun yung end game dun eh. Kapag pinag-uusapan natin yung performance challenge, may karapat-dapat siguro na ayuda or benefits na mapupunta sa isang local government unit for having that seal of good housekeeping. And if you look at the numbers based on sa sinasabi ni former Undersecretary Milwida Guevara ng Department of Finance, who has been working very closely with Secretary Robredo, sinasabi nga niya, yung parang what he's saying is that complying with this seal of good government, nakita natin na yung ratio in terms of percentages, 93% are actually compliant. So nakikita mo na yung ginagawa ng ating Pangulo nung siya ay nag-umpisa, when you talk about his crusade against graft and corruption, you can see that they have toed the line, and si Secretary Robredo has been able to provide the road by which yung ating mga local government units will work hand in hand with the national government.
Sir, would you say na ito pong programa ni Secretary Robredo is actually the one that responded to the call of the President regarding Daang Matuwid?
Well, I would say so. And I think that based on what people are saying in the countryside, yung mga kababayan natin, is we have seen a greater synergy between the national government and local government. So that when you talk about projects being conceptualized and being proposed sa ating mga local governments, they actually conduct dialogues and consultations sa ating mga national government units to ensure that the projects really cater to the basic needs ng ating mga kababayan sa kanayunan, and there is no wastage when you talk about yung mga resources. Kasi ang problema natin dati, may isang proyekto dito, dala lang ng politika, pero ngayon nakikita natin yung mga projects and programs na binubuo at are being implemented by our local governments. They're actually work hand in hand with the national government.
Opo. Sir, kanina binanggit po ninyo no, na si Secretary Robredo is one of those people and is in fact the proponent of cleaning up the system of Naga. Do you suppose, di ba sabi niya nga po, ito yung dating hotbed ng insurgency before. Do you suppose that if he's still alive, do you think he will be able to help alleviate our problems regarding the peace process in Mindanao?
Alam mo, JJ, I have been in this business for the past 30 years. I have seen all sorts of local government officials, especially in areas where there has been conflict. And kung tinitingnan natin yung naging achievement ni Secretary Robredo as a pioneer in establishing a zone of peace, this has been able to, infect also a closer province to its south. You talk about Albay. Albay is basically one of the hotbeds of the insurgency. At the time, nakita natin na unti-unting nabigyan tugon at saka nakikita natin Albay is doing very well. Of course, there are certain remnants dyan sa Sorsogon. And Sorsogon also, over the past decade or so, has been able to contain that. And people are now starting to believe in their national government pagkatapos yung mga ginagawa ng ating mga kababayan at yung ating mga local leaders of engaging the insurgents na yung problemang yun unting-unting nawawala. Pagkatapos on the north of Camarines Sur is Camarines Norte, wala na rin. Pagkatapos dyan sa Quezon, dati siguro nababasa mo at we see on the news on television na nandyan si Carrozal, si Gregorio Rosal, who was that was the center of the insurgency at that time.
Now, sir, with regard to his achievements, sa palagay po ba ninyo, were he still alive up until this time, do you think that he has other plans regarding Naga after he innovates the whole DILG system? Do you think he still has his attention towards Naga, or do you think he still has plans to do what he did to Naga all over the Philippines?
I think the fact that he was Secretary of Local Government, what he did, kung ano yung nasimulan niya at nagtagumpay siya sa Naga, ay ginagawa niya para sa buong bansa. The experience he has being a mayor of Naga for 6 years is actually being brought on the national stage. And even before naging secretary siya ng local government, talagang nakita ng kanyang mga kapwa local government units yung sinimulan niya at yung success na nagawa niya at kung paano ang yung mga kababayan niya sa Naga ay naging bahagi ng pagbabago at pagunlad ng Naga. So, there's no reason why a very good local government like Naga managed by this secretary should not be a shining example how their leaders and their people can work together in ensuring that they are able to address the concerns of development.
So, may we know your thoughts. Sa palagay po ba ninyo, sino po o anong klaseng kwalifikasyon meron dapat yung papalit po kay Secretary Robredo?
It's not for me to say. I think nandyan na yung the model is Secretary Robredo. I'm sure the President will use Secretary Robredo as a basis. Yun na yung tinatawag mong template, di ba? Yung template kung sino ang dapat maging bagong secretary. Alam mo, malaking hamon sa isang tao na isipin kung paano siya maging isang local secretary of local government dala ng iniwan ni Secretary Robredo.
So, paano naman dun sa mga kabataan natin na ipinanganak post-EDSA revolution, napakarami po. They really wanted to know, ano po yung mga pinagsimulan nitong si Secretary Robredo? From what we've heard po is when he graduated during his younger years, sometime in 1980, he joined Magnolia Corporation. And after that po, after the 1980s, they said he went back to Naga and ran as mayor. Dito lang po ba talaga nagsimula yung kanyang political career? And after which, did it take him too long to reform his own province? At paano po siya napansin ng mas matataas na opisyal ng gobyerno para kunin ang kanyang serbisyo? I heard the former President Corazon Aquino has already noticed the talents of this great man as early as the early 80s po.
I think more than talent, siguro, when JJ, it's how you love your country. And I think he loved his country. And it proceeds from that. And if you believe so much in the Filipino, and if you believe in your country, I mean, all the good things that you have been able to grow with based on your experience with your environment will actually commit you to your respective area and to the country as a whole. Ako, sa nakita ko kay Secretary Robredo, I mean, he is a rare breed. Mahirap makatagpo ng katulad niya. Gaya ng sinabi ng isang niyang kaibigan kanina sa tribute ng Department of Local Governments sa Malacanang, hindi naman kailangan maging trapo ka para maging isang alkalde o bilang isang public servant na hinalal ng ating mga kababayan. Ang importante, nakikita nila sa iyo na ikaw ay tapat sa kanila, na handa kang magserbisyo, na walang hinihintay na kapalit, at ang importante, yung kanilang pagmamahal sa kanilang sarili at sa kanilang bayan.
Opo. Nakita po natin dito, no, patuloy na pinag-uusapan nga itong kakaibang leadership ni Secretary Robredo. Sinasabi nila na napakasimpleng tao, uma-attend ng meetings ng naka-shorts lamang at naka-desipit nga daw na sinelas. So, ngayon, hindi ba meron na rin tayong nakitang leader na ganito? Recently lamang sa Kongreso, si Y. Kurat yata ito. Siya yung congressman na nakabisikleta lamang kung pumapasok sa Kongreso, nagtatanim ng kalamansi sa likod ng bakuran ng Kongreso. Pero parang for some time now, hindi na natin narinig yung tungkol dito kay Y. Kurat. Do you think na walang makakasustain ng ganitong simpleng leadership o ganitong kasimpleng image, hindi ba? Hindi kaya parang hindi rin naman natin masabi kung flash in the pan lamang ito, dahil si Secretary Robredo ay nagsimulang magserbisyo sa Naga City and has been consistently achieving in Naga for 18 years as a mayor. Pagkatapos ay ngayon nga nag-innovate siya ngayon sa DILG, and I think itong klase ng pamamaraan ng leadership na ito ay kakaiba, no? I'm just wondering and thinking out loud, kaya rin kaya ng ating mga kongresista, ng ating mga senador, yung klase ng pamamahalang ipinapakita ni Secretary Robredo nung siya'y nabubuhay pa? Kasi hindi ba nakapagtataka na bakit hindi na natin narinig yung mga ganito kasimpleng kind or brand of leadership during this time. Kagaya nga nung ating pinagpipitagang congressman nga naubod ng simple, sana lahat, hindi ko naman sinasabing sana lahat ay magbisikleta patungong kongreso, ano?